It is an honor to meet you. I have heard tell of you from Mondstadt. Indeed, it is as you have guessed. The Wangsheng funeral parlor organizes burials. We ensure that those who pass on do so in peace. Because I can bring you to see Rex Lapis's vessel. Rex Lapis may be the prime of Adepti, but he is ultimately an Adeptus. Many Adepti have left us over the millennia. This is the inexorable trend. The times have changed. You must have felt it too when you were at Jueyun Karst. As you have seen, the time of the Adepti is ending, and the time of mankind is slowly dawning. In years past, Liyue's tradition was that a huge memorial service be held to mark the passing of every Adeptus. But this time, the Qixing have made no attempt whatsoever to respect this tradition. It is sacrilege. Deicide or not, the concern of the Wangsheng funeral parlor is this. When the ritual to receive this god is so kingly, it is all the more egregious for his final send-off to go unattended to. Traveler, Childe has told me a lot about you. Since you have had dealings with the Animo Archon, could I ask you to help me prepare the Geo-Archon's last rites? Precisely. Only by participating in the rite of parting will you be able to see the form of Rex Lapis again. If we are agreed, come with me. We will speak of the details as we walk. After having experienced the land of the absentee Archon, traveler, how does it feel to know that our Archon and Adepti are here all around you in Liyue? I see. So you're that sort of person. It's not a bad thing. But I suppose you have yet to experience the substance of Liyue's 3,700 years of divinity. Organizing the rite of parting should prove to be an enlightening part of your travels. Liyue is the most prosperous of the 7 nations, defended by deities and ruled by the Qixing. As such, the diplomatic maneuverings of the Fatui have gained no purchase here. Ningguang of the Qixing has always been on her guard against the Fatui. That is in all likelihood why Childe wants to make use of the Wangsheng funeral parlor's connections. I neither know nor do I wish to know. As far as I am concerned, the Fatui are merely financial sponsors. I only wish for Liyue's traditions to endure. These are the advance funds that Childe has provided. If you use them up, you can go to him to apply for any subsequent funding. Well then, let us be off. The first step in our preparations shall be to obtain some prized Noctilucous Jade worthy of a deity. Noctilucous Jade, of radiant grade at the very least. Very good. It seems you have learned some tricks of the trade. Oh, you want me to decide? That is fine as well. If it were me, the answer would be simple. I'll take them all, boss. Oh, Mora. It is as you say. I suppose I overlooked this particular aspect of the transaction. If one must always consider Mora before acting, then in all things one is bound by Mora. All Mora is currency, but not all currency is Mora. No need to waver. Even when I am constrained by Mora, I have ways of working around my limitations. Evaluating the quality of Noctilucous Jade is indeed very tricky. As crude ore, there is little difference in texture, lustrousness, and internal pattern between good and bad jade. Only after the item made using Noctilucous Jade has taken shape will you be able to see whether it is up to par or not. If you return to those crafty merchants to quibble, they will counter by saying that your crafting bench is to blame, or that your heat control was poor. But there is a way to truly evaluate this jade, and a true insider would know it. A fool sees the pointer and misses the moon. If you point at the moon with your finger, a wise man knows that you are pointing at the moon, while a fool will only see the finger. The patterns, the facade, these are all the finger. Noctilucous Jade is a mystical stone used to light up the darkness, and so its brightness is the important thing. It is the moon. Noctilucous Jade of excellent quality would have superior pyroaffinity. In other words, the bluer and brighter the luster of the ore under high temperature, the higher its quality. I have imparted the priceless secrets of the jade trade to you. Now, all that's left is to put it into practice. Don't worry, I know the rules. As long as we can prove that it is good jade, you will not take a loss. It can't be helped. Trying to deprive a merchant of his profits would be like forcing a ravenous wolf to vomit up the food in its stomach. Nonetheless, under the right conditions, these thin slices will serve. While we add the high temperatures using pyro, we can use hydro to reinforce it from within. This way, the samples will not disintegrate immediately. Strictly speaking, asking for samples when we have not yet agreed to purchase the goods is unfair. Trade in Liyue must be based upon fairness. It has been a long time since I last set foot in the Nation of Wind. A friend of mine from Mondstadt would always bring a few bottles of locally brewed dandelion wine whenever he came to visit me in Liyue. It must be said that the famed liquor of the land of pastorals is far better than Sumeru's frigid snake wine. Then we'll take a box of the third type of jade. I suppose it would not hurt to tell you. We need them to make implements for the rite of parting. In the safe hands of the Liyue Qixing and good honest merchants such as yourself, I for one believe that Liyue will continue to prosper as it always has done. Now that we've made our choice, let's take this Noctilucous Jade back. Oh, right, I'm sorry. I must have forgotten to do that too. Let me see. As I thought, I didn't bring any. Mora, my apologies. Another oversight on my part. Well, it's settled then. Let's take this jade to Yujing Terrace. That's where we plan to hold the rite. I will do my best. You have my thanks. We can leave the jade here. I have already called for a jewelsmith to shape them into the implements that we will need. Ah, yes. I have yet to go and see Childe. So, as for the jewelsmith's remuneration... Yes, I have already rented this location, and have begun making preparations for the rite. That's right. The Liyue Qixing have acquiesced to using the same location. Traditionally, we call it the Exuvia. One must think that they already have someone in mind. Or perhaps they already know. Surely they must have found all the evidence that there is to find here. These things are for the authorities in Yujing Terrace to consider. Trying to help would probably only add to their troubles. Before the rite is conducted, the exuvia will be kept temporarily in the Golden House. The only mint in Liyue, which is to say the only mint in Teyvat. All the Mora that flows throughout the world is minted there. Since the rite of parting has the approval of the Qixing, it is a semi-official event. As such, there is already some limited information available. Perhaps each has their motives, but this is the capital of commerce. A little exploitation once in a while is not unacceptable. In Liyue, where the god of contracts reigns, only contracts may not be betrayed. I, for one, have no issue with little maneuvers outside their remit. Well then, we should go and prepare the perfumes used in the rite. No, perfumes used to honor the gods must be freshly decocted. The quality of the silk flowers we require is also special. Silk flower petals contain a fibrous material of good quality, often used in brocade making. Its scent, however, is most elegant, and is especially suited for solemn events, like giving offerings to gods and adepti. We shall not speak of the details right now. Follow me. We shall go to the merchants to purchase our ingredients. Golden House Maiden, Valley Weaver, and Fate's Yearning. One of each to start with, if you don't mind. Silk flowers exhibit different properties based on how their environmental conditions differ from their ancestral habitat. Nevertheless, these are fine specimens, excellently preserved. Just look at the abundant foliage here, and these stamens, glamorous as a maiden of the Golden House. This strain is an evergreen, and mostly grows under complex hydrological conditions. By contrast, this variety thrives in any dark, damp location, often in large clusters. Morphologically, it is distinguished by the profusion of petals and densely packed stamens, though its powerful scent gives it away just as easily. Lastly, this strain is quite the recluse. Unlike its exuberant cousins, flowers and foliage are minimal, and when in season, it has a subtle yet enduring scent. It was first discovered by the ancients when they scaled the mountains in search of the adepti. Silk flowers have all but disappeared from the wild today due to geographical changes over Liyue's history. Most are not grown by horticulturalists. I possess but a smattering of trivial knowledge. My traveler friend is the one to watch. They are on track to set foot in every corner of the world. I'll take them all, boss. How can I put this? When purchasing opera tickets, it is natural to decide based on which singer has the most melodious voice. The same logic applies when purchasing a pet bird. But this silk flower purchase is not an analogous case. The same logic does not apply. Perhaps you don't know. Tradition states that we should decoct perfume from different subspecies of silk flower when making an offering to a statue of the seven. Rex Lapis will then make his own choice between the scents. Like several other tedious and complicated traditions, this one has become simplified over time. But this is the only rite of parting to take place for one of the seven in 3,700 years. As such, I do think we should honor tradition down to the last detail in this case. Now that's settled, a question. Do you have any Mora on you? Thank you, boss. I think I speak for all of us when I say that your generosity has saved our skins. Ideally with the help of an expert. Unfortunately, none of my acquaintances have personal experience in the art of decoction. Hence, I need you to help by asking around in the city. Try the common folk, especially women. I will wait for you near the statue of the Seven. Meet me there when the perfume is ready. Oh, you're back. Don't worry, I haven't waited long. Compared to the watch that Rex Lapis's statues have kept over Liyue, this was but a brief moment. That is true. Well, have you brought the perfumes? Thank you both. Let us offer them up. Perhaps. Rex Lapis has taken on countless forms. Perhaps that really was one of them. We can leave that to the authorities. Let us focus on the fond farewell for Rex Lapis. Next, I would like the two of you to help me borrow the cleansing bell. At present, a friend of mine named Madame Ping is the guardian of the cleansing bell. She lives near Yujing Terrace. If you ask her, she will know what to do. Ah, I have certain reasons why I cannot be there in person. Please, do this for me. Indeed, this is the cleansing bell. It's in good condition. Let's place the perfume we've prepared inside. Of course. How would I know that the bell was with her otherwise? That tone does not suit you. Still, her teapot is indeed very good. There are none better for brewing tea. When a suitable time arrives, I'll bring a spot of fine tea and pay her a visit. Next, we need to purchase kites. No. Kites are children's toys, yes, but they also play various symbolic roles in Liyue's rituals. I will explain it to you, but our next course of action should probably be to purchase the kites first. Yes, thank you. Well, that's because I prefer to share fun things with you. Indeed. These are decorations used in the rite of parting. The 7 kites represent the 7. The design of this kite displays a firm grasp on the cyclicality and eternity so dear to the Electro-Archon. These markings of tree and leaf pay due honor to wisdom and the passage of time. All this on a single kite. Truly astonishing. Justice flows across the surface of the waters. War rages like a flame, as does that which the Cryo-Archon once... Yes, these details are masterfully done. Well then, Granny Shen, I shall take these back with me. As for the payment... Child, you are as fond of jokes as ever. Well then, since we've purchased our kites without incident, there's no need to take a break before moving to the next step in our preparations. The rite of parting requires helping hands as well as materials. We should be able to find some people near the harbor. Next, we need some everlasting incense. For this, we need to go to Boo Boo Pharmacy, the finest pharmacy in all of... Is everything okay? The reception, it seems. Hello, little girl. Do you sell everlasting incense here? Surely no prescription is needed to purchase everlasting incense. It's not a controlled substance. Zombies are limited to acting within the confines of their orders. And somehow in this case, the zombie issues her own orders to herself. My dear Chi-Chi, we didn't bring a prescription, I'm afraid. But we do hope that you can still help us find some everlasting incense. Never mind. Just think of it as a peer-to-peer transaction. That way everybody wins. Sometimes in Liyue, the art of the deal is simply about victory via mental gymnastics. Guizhong Ballista. I have heard of this device before. It's a kind of crossbow turret, installed on Mount Qinheng by an adeptus in the distant past, an early mechanical device. Located in Qinheng Pass, it was designed to automatically fire at large monsters, protecting Liyue from external threats. Apparently not quite. This is the first I have ever heard of the Coco Goat. Very well then. Let's start by investigating near the Guizhong Ballista. Perhaps we will find some clues. It is currently inoperable in any case. This device is broken. After millennia of wear and tear, even Adepti contraptions are difficult to maintain. You almost make it sound like I'm some sort of bourgeois parasite whose only utility lies in providing quaint pieces of trivia on demand. That said, let me think for a moment. Ah, yes. Spare parts were made for the Guizhong Ballista when it was first built, in case it was damaged in battle. As I recall, there is a military supply post from that period somewhere inside the pass. If we can retrieve the spare parts from where they are stored, we may be able to repair the Guizhong Ballista. One just needs to understand the basic working principles of the device. I have a smattering of knowledge on the topic. With the parts in hand, I could at least tinker with it. These parts look useful. One moment. I will try to repair the device. It is done. The Guizhong Ballista is more intricately designed than I thought. It's easy enough. We simply need to do this. Look, it even has a scope. Not a turret. A Guizhong Ballista. Also, kindly state your name before you ask a question. It's just good manners. Tut tut. Vandalizing the legacy of an adeptus for selfish gain. Disgraceful behavior. It is not we who need reprimanding, but you. Troubling ourselves over this rabble is not worth the time. We should focus on our contract with Qiqi. A search using the Guizhong Ballista revealed no significant life forms nearby, save for the usual wildlife. What's more, a contraption built using Adeptus technology should have no trouble detecting an Adeptibeast, as Qiqi put it. We won't solve anything while standing here and racking our brains. Let's return to Boo Boo Pharmacy, explain that we could not find a Coco Goat, and review our next step. Forgive us. We were unable to fulfill our end of the contract. We found no trace of the Coco Goat Adeptibeast of which you speak. I owe you both an apology. I hastily agreed to what appeared to be an equitable agreement with this zombie child, when perhaps I should have undertaken further due diligence. Might I ask who? Do you sell everlasting incense in this fine establishment? 3 million. An innocuous number in and of itself, though practically speaking, it could be a hard sum to come by. This is correct. 2,990,000. Also an innocuous number in and of itself, though practically speaking, it is a whole 10,000 less than the original sum of 3 million. Well, now that this is settled, we must head back to Yujing Terrace. Mr. Childe, Dr. Baiju, little Miss Qiqi, see you soon. Well, as it stands, we've hired helpers, and we've acquired the everlasting incense. The completion of our preparations is not far off. Well, traveler, have you gained anything from our adventure so far? Odd? Which is it, I wonder? The questions that such travels raise are ever so complicated. Well, I'll leave you to ruminate over it yourself. As to remuneration for your help, I've decided to treat you to a meal. Oh, yes, don't worry. I will remember to bring the Mora this time. Tonight I shall take you both to an old hole-in-the-wall, praised throughout Liyue. Indeed. Let us meet near the harbor, at third round knockout. Ah, you're here. There's no need to order. I've already done so. Third round knockout is not for lightweights, like those taverns in Mondstadt. Here, the owner does not take such unorthodox orders as fruit juice. I ordered some wine-fermented sweet rice balls for you, if that counts. Besides fine wine, the excellent ambiance is the reason why this place is so well loved. But when I say ambiance, I refer to a different sort from the one the Teyvat travel guide uses to judge other establishments. An invitation to visit the Jade Chamber is a rare honor indeed. You'd best be on your way now. But don't forget about the rite of parting. Once you've finished at the Jade Chamber, meet me at Dihua Marsh.